Welcome to the NBA here on 2K Sports, a Friday night NBA presentation. It'll be the Chicago Bulls facing off against the San Antonio Spurs. And now, here's my friend Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K crew. I'll check back with you at the break with the HP halftime report.
Everyone to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. And Doris Burke will be reporting from the sideline. The Spurs happy to be returning to San Antonio after the road trip. This is their first chance to take a look at the Bulls this season. A year ago, they each gained a victory at home. They couldn't secure a win on the road.
Well, this is going to be fun. Two of the league's great teams going head-to-head.
Brought to you by State Farm. Let's take a look at the Bulls' opening lineup. We've got Rudy Gay, and it's Paul in at the 1 spot. And for San Antonio, we've got Rivers, and it's Johnson in at the 5, down low. And you know, I remember the 2 games these 2 teams played last year, Clark, one going each way.
And both of those games were really super hyped up. I mean, uber hyped, real highlights of the regular season.
Now here's Paul. They set the screen. Skinny. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in.
Well, it wasn't a textbook pick, but he still managed to score. Good concentration on the finish.
The pass to Rivers. The 3. And the shot is good.
I tell you what, he'll be quite contented to sit out there beyond the arc and knock down shot after shot if they're going to play defense like that. Tighten it up out there.
Now let's find out what head coach Greg Popovich had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
Thanks, Kevin. He told me that he had to imprint on his team not to get overwhelmed when this offense gets hot and starts putting up points in bunches. He said it'll be tough at times, but as long as we keep working hard and make them work harder, we'll be able to weather any storm. Guys?
All right, Doris, they're probably, Clark, well aware of the firepower they're up against.
Look, Kevin, Steve, you always have to be aware of that when you're facing these guys.
Yeah, no question. If you're not prepared right from the outset, and this team will punch you in the mouth and get off to a big lead early, so they've got to be up to the task defensively. He has such a calm demeanor, but he locks in, takes his time, and finishes.
Boy, it really had to be deflating for the Spurs after winning 61 games in the regular season to be bounced out of the playoffs by the Grizzlies in the first round. And it raised some interesting and difficult questions for them moving forward.
Now here's Paul. Red hot. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in. And it's the Spurs with the ball. Tough loss coming against the Rockets in the last game they played.
And a big key to the loss to me was how poorly they shot their free throws. They just didn't make the most of their opportunities at the line.
They sure didn't. I'm not sure if it was a lack of concentration or confidence or a combination of the two, but they never looked settled at the strike.
Going back, Clark, to that first-round upset, the second time an 8th seed has ever won in a 7-game series, and the Spurs were thoroughly outplayed, Steve, by the Memphis Grizzlies. Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol. What a collection Grizzlies got by him.
Yeah, that didn't feel like an 8th seed, did it? I mean, Randolph and Gasol so dominant in the front court. And then I thought Memphis's defense was really good, too. But the Spurs, as well as they played the regular season, just didn't have it in the playoffs. I think they needed an infusion of some young talent there in San Antonio. That's what he does. Attack the heart of the defense and get straight to the rim.
13 feet out. Goes straight up. And that's the devastating one-handed jam. It's all knotted up.
Simply tenacious play out of that young fella.
Yeah, excellent putback jam. You're right.
Well, that's what he prides himself on. Hard work under the glass.
Can't get it to go. Well, the Spurs will take it the other way.
Yeah, he's struggled with his shot this quarter, and he's got to find a groove somehow.
Shot clock at 6. From the arc. They get the rebound.
He just showed you how to guard the 3 in textbook fashion. He got right up in his face and bothered the release. That is excellent D.
And that's not easy when you're talking about the opponent he's facing.
Paul left side. With 1 on the clock. No good. Well, the Spurs will take it the other way.
After coming over from the Celtics, Tom Thibodeau has really brought his brand of defense over to the Bulls. I mean, you've seen it. Hard to argue with the result. He was just what the Bulls were looking for in a new head coach.
Now here's Johnson. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Dunn passes to Rivers. Over Gay. A nice shot by Rivers. Let me see the turnaround, Clark, that Thibodeau brought to Chicago. You know, Steve, you've been in the front office before hiring and firing coaches. You wonder why he wasn't hired sooner.
Well, I actually interviewed Tom Thibodeau in Phoenix, and maybe I should have hired him. He's a phenomenal coach, did a great job with Chicago, and I think that roster is perfectly suited for his style. Thibodeau, very defensive-minded, and he's got a lot of great defenders on that Chicago team.
The natural. He's covered by Gay. Now Rivers. 8 points for him. No good on the wing 3.
Well, the defense recognized how dangerous he is out there and got right up on him. Didn't give him any space.
Paul outside. Back to Gay. Over Rivers. Gay can't get it to go. And so here is San Antonio. Now the feed to Johnson. Dunn. He's covered by Gay. Releases. Back rims that one.
You'd expect him to nail that one being that close to the hoop.
Paul outside. Shoots it up. And the jumper is on the mark. Paul's got 6.
You know, Paul isn't known for his shooting ability, but he's really developed over the years into a good shooter. He can stand still and knock down a 3. He can hit that little mid-range shot. But he's just a good enough shooter to keep you off balance and make you respect his game out there, and that gives him driving lanes.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. Steve said about Paul earlier, he is very smart, Clark, with his shots, and his field goal percentage can attest to that.
Well, Kevin, you've hung out with me before in this position. I think shooting percentage is a function of shot selection. Taking good shots, going from a good shot to a better shot to a best shot, and that's what Chris Paul does quite well.
Rivers with it. He's got 8. Dunn, defended by Paul. Chris Paul grabs the miss.
Not too much congestion in the lane. I think he could have gotten a better shot that time, no question.
Launches it. It's hauled in by Dunn.
He'd like to start this quarter over, I'm sure.
No rhythm, Steve, at all. He just can't seem to find it.
He feeds it to Humphries. And that falls. And this game is tied up now.
There are 2 guys thinking alike. Perfect pass and perfect catch. Well done both ways.
Back to Paul. That's blocked.
They are setting the tone here early with their work on the boards.
Yeah, only a moderate advantage here, a slight one, but as the game wears on, it's one they'll definitely look to build on.
Johnson dishes to Humphries from 11 feet away. Rebound by the Bulls. This game coming on the heels of their win against the Kings.
And they really shared the wealth in that game. They got some points from surprising sources. Did not miss a beat when they had to go to the bench.
You're exactly right. I mean, they really got some fantastic minutes out of those guys.
Elbow shot is on the way. Can't hit. Or the Spurs will take it the other way.
He's really struggling in this quarter right now. They need to think about getting the ball out of his hand.
Done. The natural. He passes it to Rivers. Fires from deep. And that one's good. Rivers has got 11 points.
Got the lead just going back and forth here. We're seeing some really good basketball.
You know what, guys? I've lost track of how many times the lead has changed. I mean, it's obvious, though, it's been a good one, and neither side can pull away.
And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two.
Yeah, the official all over that one. That's a good call there.
You got to give credit to the official there. I mean, being in the right position to make that call, that's what they get paid to do.
And he makes both free throws.
Chris Paul still had a fantastic season a year ago, but the numbers slipped a little bit, and you have to wonder, with that knee injury, can he sustain his production over the coming years?
Paul, right side. All alone. And he short rims that one. Talking about Paul's injuries, a lot of games missed now in his career, never a good sign.
No, it's a little bit of a cause for concern. I don't think it's a cause for panic, but it is something that you got to think about. I mean, what's really important for him going forward is to be able to stay healthy, particularly during the season and more importantly in the postseason.
Well, Clarkson throws his body all over the floor.
Yeah, he does, and hopefully with a little maturity, he can be a little more selective. You can't take away who he is by nature, a fierce competitor, an aggressive guy, but there is something to be said for tempering that in the right way.
San Antonio calls timeout.
I'll tell you one thing, it's really hard to go from winning no playoff series in 1 year to a championship. That is a big jump. Only 2 teams have done it in the modern era. That's what the Bulls were up against last season.
On defense, Chicago. Paul against Rivers. Hands it from downtown. Rivers has got 14 points. Touching back on the Bulls, they had no easy opponents in their playoff run either.
Well, they were ultimately done in by the Heat, but the Pacers and Hawks were awfully tough too. So a great learning experience for a young Chicago team. Boy, the defense read that one beautifully.
Dunn passes to Humphries. The stupendous finish in traffic. Now it's a 4-point Spurs lead. And here comes Paul. 8 points for him. Red hot. He's guarded by Rivers. 5 to shoot. Releases from 15. Rebounded by the Spurs.
Now, he had plenty of space, poor defense, but I'm not sure about his touch from that range.
From 20 feet out. This is off the front iron.
Just cannot find the rhythm. Still yet to hit a shot this quarter.
Red hot. Sticks it from 17 feet.
Well, he gets another one. That's only his second make in 7 attempts, so a little bit of a struggle here to start.
Passes to Anderson. And it's off from 3-point range. Chicago trailing here. Up and in on the layup. Well, guys, this first half has been about as tightly contested as you could hope for.
Well, neck and neck. How about that? I mean, ferociously competitive. I mean, tight as me in an airplane bathroom. Well, he's showing off his defensive instinct.
And he puts it down with authority. Spike slam cam for another angle.
Now that's just rubbing it in, fella.
Throwing it down with style.
These folks are not going to forget that one anytime soon.
And so here is San Antonio, trailing by 2. Off target with his 3.
And again, iffy shot selection there. Defender draped all over him.
Well, you got to understand who's guarding you in that situation. I mean, if he's on you tight, you can't just rise up and try to shoot over the top.
Here's San Antonio. Here's Rivers. Oh, that's blocked. Out of bounds. And they retain possession. With a break in the action, we've got a chance now to look at last year's top rebounders. Well, you look at Humphries, a terrific rebounder, 5th overall.
How about the season he had in the paint? Just rebounding numbers were mind-boggling.
A fadeaway, and no good trying to get that one. And that can